If there was ever an actor in Hollywood this last year who kind of got thrown around by the wayside between Netflix and DC, it was Henry Cavill. And we know earlier this year he announced that he would be leaving The Witcher, a really good series on Netflix that I think knocked it out of the park. He announced that he would be leaving it to go reprise his role as Superman, and then shortly soon after, James Gunn told Henry Cavill that his services were essentially no longer needed in the new DC cinematic universe. Well, just recently, an article came out where the showrunner for Netflix's The Witcher revealed that they actually discussed ending the show following his exit. And this is pretty interesting to look back and talk about, because we know when he left the show, it was a devastating blow. Liam Hemsworth is going to be taking the mantle. They recasted him in the role of Henry Cavill. And I don't think that's going to work out. You know, nothing against Hemsworth. You know, he's a good-looking, handsome man who's talented in his own regards. But the fan base for The Witcher just wants Cavill in that role, no matter what. And it's kind of interesting that Netflix took the approach to continue the series without him, because it's ultimately going to fail, man. There's no amount of milking the cash cow that they can do, because when you cast a major role like that, it just almost 9 times out of 10 never works out completely. I think the initial ratings or viewings for the show might work out, but it's going to drop off completely. But that's neither here nor there. I think in hindsight, which hindsight is always 2020, they probably should have just ended it, because the show was already getting a lot of feedback and backlash for certain things portrayed into it, which we're going to talk about a little bit right here. So I think, honestly, the moment that Henry Cavill dropped that bombshell that he was no longer going to be on the show, I think that was it. I think that killed all momentum that they could have possibly had on it. There's no coming back from that. That'd be like, I don't know. That's almost the equivalent of when Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans said they were no longer going to be in the MCU after Endgame. It really hasn't been the same since then, right? People don't like change. People don't like people leaving big-time shows. And honestly, I think a big part of it was he was not happy with the showrunners, the writers, and everyone basically involved in the show, because it seemed like people really didn't give a shit about the source material. I think that they were focused on pushing agendas. I think they were shamelessly exploiting the Witcher franchise. And I think he just reached a breaking point and declared that he was done with it. And sure, the DC money looked pretty promising as far as being Superman again goes. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out, because after filming season 3 of The Witcher, Cavill was done with the show. And I think since he announced his departure, I think Netflix has been desperate, trying to persuade fans to stick around and watch the show. And I think the fan base is just not going to have it. I think there's too much speculation, possible bad blood, and things of that nature behind it. And I think, you know, they just had a trailer come out a while ago where the dislikes to likes ratio is immense. I think at one point it was like over 300,000 dislikes to like 68,000 likes or something like that. It's abysmal. And I think that Henry Cavill being in the show is still crucial to the show's success. If he's out, the majority of the fans are out, regardless of how good or great Liam Hemsworth's portrayal of the lead character is going to be. Now, I think Netflix is attempting to do this right, but I think they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Ultimately, the issue lies in the writing of the show. You could put whoever you want as the lead. You could add bigger name actors. You could switch things around. But if the writing is abysmal, if the writing is crap, nobody's going to stick around and watch it, even if Cavill was involved, right? So I think the way that Henry Cavill was treated with the show, the creators of the show basically drove him away, honestly. Now, the showrunner, whose name is Lauren, let me get back to it. Her name is like Lauren Hisrich. She revealed recently that they discussed ending the show after he chose to exit the role. And I feel that this would have been a good decision, to be completely honest. You can see she said it was time for him and his life to move on. I think we've all been mourning this in our own way. We had the choice to have Geralt exit and to end the show, but that's not something that we were willing to do. There's just too many stories left to tell, which means there's too much money to make. in regards to this, money talks, right? Hollywood's always going to be hungry for money. They're always going to recast. They're always going to try to go as far as they can. I think in hindsight, it would have been the wise choice again, like I said, especially because it would have spared them embarrassment from season 4's failure. And who even knows if season 4 is even going to see the light of day at this point? Because Netflix could end up just canceling the series, like they always cancel a whole bunch of things. This backlash for season 4 is going to be immense, guys, to the point where I don't think they can continue. If you're already sitting behind closed doors and contemplating ending your series before season 4 even happens, that's just like you're already knowing it's not going to go well. So what's the point in even going with it? It is definitely an attempt to squeeze more money out of this franchise, maybe even throw some more agendas out there, alter more core elements of the Witcher franchise. And I don't know. I feel that the main thing when it comes to video game adaptations, movies, and television shows is the core source material, being faithful to it, and not trying to win over your viewers. Actually, for any show, if you're trying to win over viewers, it's a disaster. Blood Origin was not good. It had tons of identity politics in it, cringe-worthy storytelling, all other sorts of disasters in it, and I don't think people are clamoring for more with that response that you're going to see with the trailer for season 3. I think even if Liam Hemsworth does a bang up job, it's not going to go well because it's not Henry Cavill. The fans are going to be like, this ain't Henry Cavill. I'm not supporting it. So they kind of put Liam Hemsworth in a fucking shitty situation, in my opinion. So I personally think they should have just ended it.